cents basis, I would you could just drop everything on your screen except your 100 and your 14 period CCI. And if your 100 period CCI is in a clear downtrend and the 14 period spikes above positive 100 and the second it crosses back below positive 100, then you can take that short position knowing that you're going to get that wrist rocket of quick volatility that's going to pop that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be great. So basically what we're doing, what we'd be talking about doing is, let's see, where do we got? Right here. You've got an uptrend, a long-term uptrend. You got this coming back into the containment zone. You get your pip, you get out.
Yeah.
Except that's coming down.
Well,
that's coming down.
Yeah, yeah. See, so basically, like if you were to look at that 14 period, 100 period right now, you basically are.
Oh, right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're basically seeing a scenario where the 100 period is directly on the mean, right? So so what we know is that basically a further extended move downside right here below basically support will pull that 100 period mean underneath or the 100 period CCI underneath the mean. So what that's saying is 100 or price action is going to fall underneath the 100 period mean if it goes any lower than where it's at right now, which is also directly a pretty critical support point. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, but at the same time, you know, we've reloaded for that quick pip upside pip volatility right now. So, you know, I would say if you were going to take that long position because you're looking for those quick pop mean regression positions, this right now would be the exact perfect time to look for that one pip to the upside. And then, knowing that if we were to basically fall underneath that second standard deviation as well, then to just immediately cut that trade. But the problem is that even if you cut that trade short, if you're going for one pip every time, even if you're like, well, I'll take a little loss, 12 pips. I mean, you got to make up 16 pips just to make up that 12 pip loss. Because even though it seems like a little loss, the issue is that if you could have 12 or 16 consecutive winning trades.
I've actually ran an EA on this, and that's you can't have it. The EA is profitable every time, but you can't have a stop loss. You cannot have a stop loss. That's if you have. I mean, I put a stop loss at 100 pips. I mean, I'm trying to all sorts of different things. If you have a stop loss in there at all, it doesn't work. So basically, the whole thing is that you're planning on it coming back. If it doesn't come back, then you're in trouble.
Well, the Titanic never came back, and they thought it was unsinkable. I'm just going to say that. And we all know where the Titanic ended up.
But I sit there and I watch pips. I mean, I need to be doing something. And I sit there and I watch these pips. And all of a sudden you just get the sense of how the market moves and how, when it really falls a lot, you're only looking at one pip profit and it falls down 40 pips and then it comes back up. It really begins to teach you that you can hold these trades, that it's okay if you start going into these pullbacks and the setup is still valid, then it's okay to go ahead and let it breathe because it's probably going to go ahead and go back up. This is an exercise, not a trading strategy that I can go.
In that case, yeah, sorry, Merrill. Sorry to bombard you. I mean, I'm just looking at it. I'm trying to think about how you can make it work, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. You're definitely playing with fire. And the only thing that I would be worried about too is that, if you're not going to use it in real life trading, then it has the potential consequence of a very bad destructive habit. I don't know. Maybe let's talk in a week or two, and I just want to I want to check in and keep up to date and see how it's going. And
my other habits are so destructive that I'm hoping. I agree. This is sort of like the other side of the teeter-totter. But my habits thus far have been so destructive of exiting trades too soon that if this helps me stay in the trades longer that are real, that are my live trades, if it helps me stay in those longer, then as an exercise, I think it's a really valid exercise.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
in
know
other
what
words,
it might be?
I'm hoping something to push on the other end of the teeter-totter to get me to the point to where I'm more comfortable with all the pullbacks.
Yeah, I would.
You know what it
I think that side of it is great, Marilyn. I definitely would like to, just maybe just keep getting status updates from you to see whether it's really working for you or not. Because I'm yeah, definitely all open for new ideas, especially if it's something like this, which can help you with your if you hold trades. But I anyway. So maybe perhaps we can just talk in a week or two and see how it's going. So,
I'll give you guys a
Elena,
status report.
yeah.
Now, but I've been thinking, it might be on the contrary, instead of you staying as you're normally trading, it might, because you will so get used to take your profits at the 1 pip. It will be even more difficult to adjust to 100. No, seriously.
No,
And
I hear you. Yes.
and the other downside of it, it is if there's there's no stop loss, so it means that the mind doesn't believes that the price will go in that direction no matter what, or even if it will be a loss of pips because the methodology teaches you that the price always comes back to the mean. I mean, comes back to pulls back, and what it creates occasional reward system, and if you get addicted to it, it will be even more difficult for you to
It's called intermittent reinforcement, and you've got a good point. You got a really good point. That it is possible that it teaches me worse habits.
yeah, exactly. So and in your mind, what, there is no stop loss, therefore there is no not even chance for for the risk. So, but the risk is so high, much greater than if you had a stop loss there. You know what I mean? It's in your mind it will be even more difficult after if you trade in this system for months and then got back to the normal one. Even the 50-minute chart, it would be totally spoil the way you should, because the brain develops the patterns. Once they develop, and the brain learns very quickly bad habits and good habits, doesn't really matter, because in the mind it's all good, it's all the game. And once these patterns being developed in the brain, it takes really willpower to change it. So I would be really careful with this system.
And I agree. I understand.
Yeah.
I think that's good insight and good observation. And the one thing that I would have bet a huge amount of money on is that the reaction that I've gotten to this is exactly the reaction that I would have expected.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, no. I guess Josh has made a huge amount of money doing this. He probably knows things that we don't know, but I just can't imagine it being reasonable to actually trade this way. No stop loss. There's just the downside is just so big.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Okay, now that we're done with that, let me show y'all what I did do today. Besides that.